enough of me showing off. I don't know how much I'm showing off. I'm just kind of actually. Somebody asked about that playing by ear. Was it the Discord? Let me pull up Discord real quick. We could totally talk about that. So we may talk about playing by ear today a little bit. General. Oh wait. Lessons. Questions for Tom. Well, okay. Oh yeah, Jenna Mack said that. Video suggestion: playing by ear, and that's a great a great thing to work on, a great thing to great skill to have. I kind of I think it's harder to develop an ear today than it was when I was a kid because you have so many lessons. YouTube, you didn't even have Tab back when we had Tab, the Diet Cola, and it's unfortunately what my sisters and mom bought. So I grew up on Tab, which is awful, awful, awful. Diet Coke, now I'm fine with that. That's awesome, but Tab, oof. And they still sell it. You can still find Tab. I don't know who made it originally. I think it was it, who made Tab? Was it Pepsi? Was it a Pepsi product? I don't remember whose it was. They still make it. I don't know where you see it, but I'm pretty sure they still make it. Anyway, I'm just scooting in a little bit here, shaking the table. Not an earthquake. But when I was a kid, there was no YouTube, there was no internet, there was no. When I wanted to learn a solo, I had to just put the record on and try to figure it out. And I've talked about this before, where when you had the record, you drop the needle down and the song starts, and it's like, there's you hear, I hear that first lick, and it's like, okay, what's that first note? Okay, now start the song over again. Have to go through the whole intro, and then it's like, you hit that second note, and you're like, and so I kind of did it wrong initially, right? What I would try to do is like, okay, what's that note? The next note, what's the next note? What's the next? No, the way to do it, and I learned this in high school, but before high school, I was trying to figure out stuff myself, but I took music theory in high school, and the kids that did really well in music dictation, was it called dictation? I think it was called music dictation. So the teacher would play something on the piano, and it might be something. I don't know if you can hear that. It's pretty quiet. Or something random, right? It would normally be some kind of random melody, and you would have to write it out. And you'd have to write out the rhythm and the music. And they'd give you the starting note. Okay, the first note is a B, and you'd be like, okay, B, cool. So we're in the key of B, and then they play F or D, and then they play A and C, and you're like, okay, well now we're not in the key of B anymore. So. Maybe Gary, but I think what happens when you learn a song on YouTube is you're being showed exactly where it is, what it is, and everything, and that may help your ear training. But there's nothing that's going to work your ear harder than just digging down and trying to figure out something by yourself without any help. Because what happens is you get this huge trial and error thing where you start to learn what's the least likely scenario and what's the most likely scenario, and that's where you can get pretty good. I had my stepsister. She could just sit down at the piano and pretty much play any song without. She never had any lessons. She did, she just could do that. She had a great ear. She never went into music. It was not at all her interest. I don't think she probably hasn't played piano in 40 years, but she could just pick up anything she wanted. But the single note stuff was easier to play or to figure out in some ways. Okay, single note stuff is easier than a lot of times than chords. If you heard a chord progression that was like, you know, maybe something like that, you'd be like, where do I begin? And whereas if you heard this, you might be able to figure that out pretty quick, because once you find that first note, you can go, oh, it's going down. No, yeah. You might find it that quick. And so that's kind of what you can do with figuring out chords. I always start out with the bass note. Now let's say we're playing something in the key of C, and it's something like that. Okay. Well, the first thing you might want to listen to is to try to figure out what the bass line is. And once you figure that out, now you can kind of use music theory to determine what key you're in. So we've got a C, we've got an E, we've got an F, we got a G, and we got an A. Okay, there's two keys that have all those notes, the key of C and the key of F. But since we started on C, we're probably in the key of C. So the chord built on the C note in the key of C is a C major chord. The chord built on the G note is G major, is the 5 chord. The chord built on the 6th is A minor, that would be in the key. Oh, trim the bass back a little bit. I'm just too loud. So as you go through the notes that you're hearing in the bass line, get to that F chord. Well, if you know what chords are in the key of C, you would know that F is the 4 chord. All right, now I intentionally put a weird chord in there. I went to G, C, G, and then I did E. Well, E minor is in the key of C, but that's not what we played, what you heard. I played a more of a major sounding. I could have even done a dominant 7, but I just played E major. So, but once you figure out that bass note, it's like you can really go, okay, my initial thought would be maybe C over E or E minor, but because it sounded weird, it was like, wait, that chord came out of nowhere almost. Right? So you can sometimes use that piece of information, like, oh, it just sounded weird, to go, okay, it may not be one of the chords in the key. It may be outside of that key. Okay, now just as a refresher, we have 12 notes, E, F, F sharp, G, so on and so forth. We have 2 names for some of them, like F sharp and G flat, G sharp and A flat, whatever. But ultimately, we only have 12 notes. And when you're figuring something out, you can't tell the difference between an A flat and a G sharp. They sound the same. So initially, if I were to play an A flat, you don't know what key I'm in. I could be in A flat. I could be in the key of E major. E major. I could be in the key of A major. I could be, So if I play one note, it could be A flat. It could also be the key of A major. So a half step apart. So it doesn't really tell you a whole lot. But when I play all 12 notes, you got 12 major chords and 12 minor chords. So there's 24 chord possibilities of just basic triads, okay? Basic major and minor triads. And you don't even need to know them necessarily, but the point is that when we can determine the key, we can whittle that down to 6 chords. So now you only have to find 6 chords, unless something is an outlier, something is a little weird. And I got a comment the other day that I was teaching the key of C wrong. I did like 7 chords in the key of C or something. I taught G over B, and they said, "Well, actually, it's actually B diminished is the chord, and you'll never be a heavy metal player." I'm like, whatever. I probably played on 1 billion heavy metal tracks, but okay. Yeah, my point, in fact, I even said in the video, which is hilarious, I said, technically the 7th is a diminished chord, but more likely you're probably going to use a G over B. So I actually said the very thing he said, but yeah, so yeah, helps to play in tune. I don't think you can develop perfect pitch, but relative pitch is something you can definitely learn. There's also ear training apps that you can get, okay? And typically ear training apps will be, they'll start out, playing like a chord, and you're supposed to say, is that a major or minor chord? And it can be kind of easy to hear, can you hear that? Yeah. It can be fairly easy to hear that that's a minor chord because I'm playing it in root inversion, which means I've had the root on the bottom. But if I play a minor chord in second inversion, it's maybe a little less obvious, but it still sounds sad, right? If I play a major chord in, see, I'm playing a major chord in first inversion, which means the 3rd is in the bottom. No, don't worry, there won't be a quiz on this. Everybody take a celebratory sip. No quiz. I'm just saying, if you play a chord with a note other than the root of the chord in the as the lowest note, it can, this C over E, which is what this is, almost sounds like E minor. See, there's E minor. Well, I don't think you're born with perfect pitch. I kind of believe in what, for one thing, I mean, maybe you're born with it. Maybe everyone's born with it, but it's not developed. I look at what Rick Beato did with his son, and Rick Beato played Ornette Coleman music and all sorts of contemporary weird classical music, 12-tone row stuff like that. And Dylan developed perfect pitch very early. In fact, he was sitting at the piano playing Star Wars theme, in the right key, and it kind of freaked out. That was the first clue that Rick had that his son might have perfect pitch. Hey, Mad Musician. I haven't really said hi to anybody yet. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Sam. Bob, what's going on? Oh, yeah, we're doing pretty good for being a Tuesday. Yately, good evening from Turkey. Awesome. I love my Turkish instruments. This is Sadie. Oh, Sadie on a borrowed iPad. Oh, hilarious. Hi, Sadie. That's awesome that you're in Turkey. That's crazy. I want to go to Turkey so bad. The trustee. Love it. Welcome. Jenna Mack, hey. Oh, okay. Well, watch later because it's your question that I'm answering, kind of. 6'9", I see you there. Okay. Play D minor add 9. That's one way to play it. There's probably 1,000 ways to play D minor. Open, 5th string open, 7th. I would call it D minor 2. It saves time. It's faster to write out. And it doesn't confuse you with D minor 9, which is a different chord. That would be more like that. So I'm playing open, 7, 6, open. Yeah, I don't know, Gary. I think maybe everyone is born with it, but it doesn't get cultivated. And so it just goes away. Everyone who has perfect pitch will tell you that over time, like Michiko at my church, she has perfect pitch, but it's going away. In fact, it's starting to get flat. If I play an E, she hears it as E flat now. But my friend Bob Gates has perfect pitch, but I don't know if it's waning at all. He's about 10 years younger than me. I've known my friend Harvey. He had such good perfect pitch that he couldn't play pianos that weren't tuned to A440. It drove him insane, which was really complex. So it's good that he had keyboards. But yeah, but I think it probably goes away by the age of 2 or 3 if it's not cultivated. And Rick Beato cultivated it with his son because he was playing all this crazy, polytonal music that wasn't boring or I don't know, you could say boring, but it wasn't oversimplistic. And I think that unleashes the power that's probably just sitting there right there in your brain when you're born. But I could be wrong. There's no way to really prove that. But you can develop a great ear. And so these, there's, like I said, there are these apps you can get for your phone, and you could do 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day working on your ear training. We would do, interval training. So you would have a major scale, right? And that's do, re, mi. Okay, now here's another thing, Gary. In Europe, they have a much higher incidence of perfect pitch than in America. All right? Particularly in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, when music was taught in schools. I don't know how much it's done in Europe, but it's done a lot less here now. When I was in school, I took 2 years of music theory and a year of music appreciation. I could have played in orchestra. I played in big jazz, big band. I could have played in wind ensemble. There were so many things. Marching band. There were so many. My school won state orchestra 20 years in a row. I went to a very music-centric school. My school would allow me to leave study hall and go to the music wing and practice guitar for the hour instead of sitting in study hall. But the one of the things that we learned, and I'm not showing you my hands because I can't. Well, I could if I moved the camera, but I don't want to. But we all know this. The reason in Europe that they have a much more higher frequency of perfect pitch than here in the States is because they do what's called a fixed do. So when they sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, they have do is always C. But in America, we go to the key of D, and now D is do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So we move our do around. We move do. And in Europe, C is always do, which means they have like do, re, what is mi, ma, do, re, ma, is it ma? E flat, ma, I can't remember. Anybody European might be able to tell me. Hey, Rome! Thank you, Livio. I love Rome. Oh my gosh, Rome looks like a movie set. And it needs a coat of paint, but if you paint it, you should be thrown in jail because it's so amazing. My Roman Holiday is one of my favorite movies. But let's just look at this major scale. Do, re, mi. Okay, C to D. We give them numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And if I go 1 to 2, that's a major second. If I go 1 to 3, that's a major third. If I go 1 to 4, not called a major fourth. And I'm like, why is that not called? I'll tell you in a second. 1 to 4, C to F is a perfect fourth. Ooh, perfect. Okay. And then C to G, same thing. It's not a major fifth, it's called a perfect fifth. Okay? Then C to A is a major sixth, and C to B C to B is a major seventh, and then C to C is a perfect octave. C to C, the same note, is a perfect unison. So we have a major second. So in music training in school, we would play notes one after another, like that, and we would play them simultaneously. So initially, like if you get the app will probably go major second, and you can kind of hear maybe the start of a song. I always hear, with the fifth, I always hear oh ee oh from Wizard of Oz. Fourth is the Wedding March. But ultimately, you start to hear these as what they are. So that, the sixth, the major sixth is like the NBC, right? Major seventh. But that would be a diminished fourth. I'm sorry, an augmented fourth. Anyway, not going to get there yet. But in music training, you would start out doing that, and you go, oh, major second. And then the next step is to do that, and you go, oh, that's a major second. Well, you might hear. You know, you can associate songs. It's total. Everybody would have different associations, and then you work the minors. So a major second was C to D. A minor second would be C to D flat. C to E is a major third, but C to E flat is a minor third. Okay? And then they would do inversions. So you would learn like C to E, but then they would do descending. So then they go to C and they go, and you go, ba, ba. Okay, that's a half step down, that's a B. C, B. And you start to work the descending. So you hear ascending, you learn those in all keys. And the key doesn't matter if you don't have perfect pitch. If you have perfect pitch, it's not even going to be an issue. Sam says, when listening to double stops, say it's a major third. Try listening to the waving of the major minor. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish from the minor sixth inversion. Is this issue known? No, that's pretty standard stuff. It is a muscle, I believe. So, and like if I were to hear an interval, and I had a guitar in my hand, I might be faster at finding that sixth or that minor sixth faster if I had a guitar in my hand. Like I would hear it, go. It's just weird. That's kind of like there's a little bit more of a connection to the music with the guitar in my hand. But the ear training things, I think if you do them, and like I said, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, you could do 15 minutes a day on an ear training app if you want. And it's one of those things where it's like it'll play an interval and then it'll give you 4 options or something. You push the button and it tells you, wrong, And then the goal is to get 10 in a row right or something like that. And then they move on to the next thing. And they'll do it in different keys too. And that's really helpful because you might start to develop really quick memory for if I were to play, only the key of C. That might be easy, but then if I go to the key of A and I went, you'd be like, okay, well, shoot, what is that? So yeah, that major sixth, the thing about, and so I was going to talk about that, Gary. So then we get to what's called inversions. Okay, so check this out. Let me just restate the ascending intervals, okay? C to C is a perfect unison. That's my favorite one on the test when they do that. You can't really play them at the same time though on a piano, but I can on the guitar. But if I did that, I might not notice that it was actually 2 notes. Okay, so they do that. And then the next C to D is a major second. Okay. And then C to E is a major third. And then C to F is a perfect fourth. And again, you'll see why in a second. C to G is a perfect fifth. And then C to A is a major sixth. And C to B is a major seventh. And then C to C is a perfect octave. Okay, so C to B, major seventh. B to C is a minor second. So I'm going to go backwards now. C to B is a minor second. C descending down to A is a minor third. C to G, oh, there's that perfect fourth. It was a fifth coming up. Now it's a fourth going down. C to F is a perfect fifth. It was a fourth going up. It's a fifth coming down. C to E, and that you might, like Gary, you might hear that as a major interval because that's the third of the E. It's like an E major triad almost. We're just missing the G note there, but that's actually a minor sixth interval. So that's where you can, you can start to get a little fuzzy sometimes. Like, wait, is it minor sixth or minor? Yeah. So the inversion of a minor sixth is a major third. I'm gonna restate it all that way as well. So check this out. So I'm gonna go C down to D, and that's a minor seventh. And then C down to C is a perfect octave again. Okay. So again, let me play this C to D. You could do it this way too. It's so much easier to see on piano. But C to D is a major second. Okay. D up to C is a minor seventh. So what you get is the inversion of a major second is a minor seventh, okay? The interval that takes you to a full octave, if you go up a whole step, if you go up a major second from C to D, to get to the next C is a minor seventh. Okay, so if it's a major interval, the inversion is going to be a minor interval. If it's a major second, the number has to add up to 9, okay? 9. So a major second's inversion is a minor seventh, right? So 2 plus 7 is 9, okay? A major third, C to E, okay, that's the second interval in a major scale, C to E. E to C, so if I go, that interval is a minor sixth. And you could have figured that out without even knowing it. Because if you know major third, well, okay, the inversion is going to be a minor interval, and 9 minus 3 is 6, minor 6, and that's exactly right, okay? So a C to F is a perfect fourth, F to C is a perfect fifth. So go C to F, go C to... It doesn't hurt to see these on the guitar. They all have an interesting kind of quality to them. I wrote a song, let's see. What did I call it? I'll find it in a second. Maybe I can upload it to YouTube and yeah, and starting to learn the interval theory and things like that will start to unlock a lot of chord knowledge and understanding. So I got to change the name of this. Let me change this. to working on your ear. Save. All right. So then when we go C to G, oops, sorry. C to G is a perfect fifth. 2, 3, 4, 5. And G to C is a perfect fourth. So again, 5 plus 4 equals 9. And the same thing with the perfect fourth to the fifth, the C, F to the perfect 4, perfect fifth, that equals a, that equals 4 plus 5 equals 9, 5 plus 4 equals 9. We have a major sixth here, the NBC, right? C, A, all right? And then the inversion of a perfect, a major sixth would be a minor third, A to C. So we have the C to A. It's such a great, I don't know, just that interval always sounds more in tune to me than the fifth. On a guitar, fifths always sound a little suspect. So that now A to C is a minor third. See, very sad. All right, and then the last interval, C to B is a major seventh, and that last interval, B to C, is a minor second or a half step, commonly called a half step. On the guitar, it's 1 fret. You can always think of Jaws, or you can think of Charlie's Angels. That's what it's either one of those. We could probably come up with, I mean, there's entire websites dedicated to that kind of stuff. You can totally find lists of, exactly, a list. It's funny video when there's an old video of footage of John Williams and Spielberg talking about when John Williams played Spielberg the Jaws theme for the first time. He didn't get it at first. It's pretty funny. But it's so iconic. Yeah, Fur-Elise. That's right. So what is it? What is it in the key V? Oh. Yeah, it's funny because it's so deceptive because you think you're in the key V major. But you're not. You're really in the key of A minor. So Beethoven's like messing around with the blues tone there. I don't know. I never studied piano, so I'm just kind of winging it. But you're exactly right, Juan. That's a good one. That's a good one to hear. And you're probably from Europe. I don't know where you're from, but it's like, yeah, Europeans are so much smarter than Americans. It's like, oh, that kind of sounds like Jaws, you know. Europeans are like, oh, it's Beethoven. Anyway, I'm not bashing on Americans. I'm trying really hard. We're as a family, we're trying not to put ourselves down, right? Like, how when you forget something, you go, I'm such a moron. Don't say that, because words have power. And if you keep saying that, you're going to start to believe it. Now, I guess the opposite could be true. I'm the greatest person who ever lived. I might start believing that, and that could be equally dangerous. By playing the fifth, sixth, the fifth, yeah, and So so what happens is, like with ear training, like with an app, it'll start you out with these major intervals, you know, and a lot of times it's super duper simple. Like you'll have an option between a major second and a minor second or something like that. And so they'll play an interval and you go, oh, well, that's a major second. Then they'll play it again. And you go, oh, is that major or minor? Oh, that's major. Okay. Then you hear another one. You go, oh, that's minor second. So, you know, they start out and then they do another round where it's major third and minor third. So you hear a bunch of minor thirds, you go, oh, that's a minor third. And then you hear another one that's like, and hopefully it mixes it up so it's in different keys and different octaves and things like that. And you really do have to kind of go, take your ear and go, whoop. It's like looking down and looking up and looking down. Your ear kind of does the same thing. And then it'll do fourths and fifths or something like that. Okay. Then it'll do descending and say, is that a major third or a minor third? And that's what's crazy is, you know what? That's a major third. But against the minor third, that sounds like a major third, but that's a minor third. And that's a major third. Isn't that crazy? So in those cases, you might, a lot of times when I hear a major, I hear holy, holy, holy. Right? That's not right. So, was he plays the root note and sixth and then the root note and fifth? Oh, moving down. So he goes. That? I'm trying to remember. All right. So, and then the training thing will probably do unisons, like they'll play notes at the same time. And the crazy thing is like if I play this and then I play this, or no, the better example was this. That sounds like a minor interval, but it's not. It's a major third. So, you know, oh, my guitar. Yeah. I turned up the overall sound for the piano. But you can kind of mess around with hearing intervals just by playing like unison. You can start to hear the intervals just on the guitar too. And like I said, if somebody were to play something on the piano and I had a guitar in my hand, I'd probably find it pretty quick. I can't make that promise, but paint blackish. Yes. Yeah, that was a little bit like that. Okay, Sam. Um, so back to the overall, like the trying to figure out chords. Okay, so I showed you an example of a chord progression at the beginning that was this. Oh, it was. Now, you can kind of tell by the sound of it that the last chord is probably the root chord, right? That's the key we're in. Whatever that is, that's the key. All right. So, but if you listen to the bass note, okay, you start there, and you can hear that bass note. You could even mess with the EQ on something, roll off the top, and sometimes hear even more of the bass. Wait, right on the right. I'm on the wrong track. All right. So we've determined that the bass line is E, E flat, and D. Then let's do it again. And the top, then to get the top note. And it's just F sharp to F natural to E. And that interval, okay, that interval happens to be a major ninth. All right. Or just a ninth, you could call it a ninth. You say major and you might think that all the chords are going to be major ninth chords, but they're not. But that interval is technically a major ninth. We're not technically in E major there. We're going to find that out in a second. So now we got. Now, so you've got the lowest note, the top note. And now it's just a matter of filling in the middle notes, you know. And so you can kind of experiment with those and try to see. No. Oh, that's right. So I did a major third here, but that's not right. That's right. It also sounds right. So now we have minor third, major third, and then the seventh. And you can kind of start to fill in those middle notes. When I was in high school and in college also, that we would analyze hymnals. And the thing interesting about hymns, if you have a hymnal around, you know, you can pick one up. You can probably find one at Salvation Army, and you can do your own, like you can find hymnals at thrift stores and stuff. You can kind of do I used to have like 20 of them because I used to collect them just for fun. And sometimes I would like to rearrange hymns more contemporarily, contemporary for church. But I basically you can see the bass note. Oh, I forgot I had this open. You have the bass note, and that's moving around, okay? So the bass note might be, right? So C, G, A minor, F, or whatever. Okay? The top note is the melody, so it's got to do something, right? So it might go... because the melody is the melody. You can't get away from that. Whatever the melody is of the hymn or the song, that's your melody, and the bass line is the bass line. But so you have on choral music, you have basically four parts. You have bass, tenor, alto, and soprano. And the soprano usually sings the melody, and the basses usually sing the bass. But that means your alto and tenor lines can be kind of played with a little bit. I mean, they still kind of want to support the harmony, but they may actually do more to define the harmony. Now, I actually created a melody here. Okay, E, D, C, A, that is a chord tone of all four of those chords. So this is a C, that's an E, that's the third. D is the fifth of this one. A is the third of that one. And I could have stayed on C, right? Let's do that. It's even simpler. All right? And that way the melody is the third of this chord, the fifth of this chord, the third of this chord, and the fifth of this chord. So the melody kind of goes back and forth between being in relation to the chord or the harmony, the third, the fifth, the third, and the fifth. All right? And that, again, one of the things you glean from this is that that C note sounds one way over the A minor. That same exact note sounds different over the F because its relationship is different. And yet you haven't changed anything, which is really cool. It's kind of, like the whole... That G note is different relationship in each one of these chords. And sounds like it's a different note, but it's the exact same note every time. It's almost like an optical illusion, but with your ear. So we have C, E, G, D, and we have A, C, and F, C. Okay, but we start to fill this in. I could do like... so if I fill it in, then let's start with like maybe let's do the tenor. I might do let's see, C. I've already got an E, so let's just do let's do. Okay, so here's the tenor line. Play this with me. G, G, E, F. Okay? Now the bass line, the basses they're used to singing bigger. So they're singing C to G, which is a fourth. And this is where you put the music, the ear training to work, because when you're singing in a choir, you're looking at, again, this is something that everybody did 100 years ago. Everybody had hymnals at church, and they looked at it, and they went, dum, bum, and they would see that, they would pick the voicing that was the best part for them, and they would sing, and they'd have to know what a fourth sounds like, and then a major second, and a major third, and then a perfect fifth. And so if you were singing bass in the hymnal, you've got boom, 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 boom. You're doing these big jumps, right? And then the melody. Okay, I kept the melody simple, right? So it's the melody. It's a very simple melody. All right, but the tenor line, I went G, and then I stayed on G. One of the rules we learned in music theory was if you don't have to change a pitch of the tenor or the alto, don't. And consequently, that's why cello players are like sometimes really get bored, because a lot of times they're playing the same note for a long time. Because the cellos are kind of like represent the tenor part. The basses would be the bass part. The violas would be the alto part, and the violins would be the string part. See, so you've got four strings that equal the four voices of the human voice. The soprano, alto, tenor, bass. You've got violin, viola, cello, and bass. So, so if I go C, I've got C, G is what the tenors are singing, and then the E on top, and then I go. I've got G, G, so they're singing an octave above and there. And then I go to C, and I have to go down. I could have them, now on the C, I could have had them stay on the G, but I wouldn't have had any place I would have squeezed out the altos. So I'm going to bring the tenors down to E. And then I'm going to take them up a half step for the F. So it would be, here's the Now this is very similar to that trick I did, that video I did, a cool trick I call sing a string. So for example, if a song's in the key of G, and the melody is whatever. You know, the singer's going crazy. I can just go. I can just sing whatever note is on the G string, and it's going to work with that melody no matter how busy it is. It might be, you know, whatever. But all I'm doing is singing two notes versus the person who's singing the melody is going all over the place. But if you're on the fly and you still have to know the words and the rhythm of the melody. But I could have sung the D string. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm creating a tenor part on the fly. And so right there, you know, so the tenor part is by its nature and intentional is a little bit on the boring side. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm thinking. Right? Now that leaves us the alto part. So the melodies, well, we can do C. So on the tenor part, we stayed on G for two notes, and we went to E and then F. On the alto part, we're going to be on C down to B, and then we're going to be on A for two notes. So ultimately, the alto part is almost even a little bit more boring than the tenor part, right? Because we're just descending. At least with the tenor part, we had a third interval, a little bit wider of an interval that resolved to the F. So let me just play the alto and the tenor. And here's a cool thing. I will use alto and tenor part creation to come up with a guitar part. In fact, with this, let me just play this real quick. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, I don't want to do that. So we're gonna have we got Let It Be, basically. It's what we're doing here. All right, so Let me elongate that, okay? Let me play 2 bars of each. I mean, 2 beats, whatever. A bar of each. 3, 4. Yeah, now it's definitely... Okay. Oh, I don't doubt that doo-wop came out of church music. That probably makes complete sense. I guarantee you all those doo-wop singers were singing in churches. Yeah, and the thing is that everyone sang in church 100 years ago. That was just a normal thing. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a different sound now. Check this out. So I'm going to pull up a kind of, a sound I might use for what did I? Oh, here it is. Now, remember what I did? I did C. All right. These were I'm playing the alto and the tenor part. The tenor part was. I deleted the. I need this pedal, sustain pedal in there. There it is, right there. Okay. Why does it sound like I fudged it? That's weird. Sounds like there's a hesitation or something, but it's not. It's cool. And then E. Play all this with one finger, and then F. Let's do it again. Tenor part, G for twice. Stay on G. Down to E. For the A minor chord, and then we're on the F chord, we go to F. Okay, now go to the C note here. Down to B, half step. Down to A. Stay there. So this is the C again, over the C chord. Altos sing the B over the G chord. A over the A minor chord, and then A over the F chord. Okay, check it out. Or I could do the melody in the tenor part. So that's the lower notes the tenor, higher notes the melody, the soprano. I could do the altos and so sometimes that's a way, using the inner harmonies is a great way to come up with an interesting rhythm guitar part. I could even use it in kind of a rock context. Let's see, like if I have, say the bass is going here. Wait, I don't like that. Okay. Let me put a bass line on here real quick. Oh, wrong channel. Hold on. Right, here's the bass. Okay, so I'm going to go down an octave. Now, that's funny. That note's hot pushing because of jumping out because of the. It's because I rolled off the low notes. That's why they're not coming out. That C note's coming out really strong. Oh, it just crashed. What? Unbelievable. It didn't like something. Sure. Okay. Save. All right. I'll try to lower the volume of that C note as much as I can. Okay. So I could even use that. I could even use that. Those inner voicings for like a rock part. Okay. I could throw rock drums in here. Let's see. But follow the piano. Yeah. No fills. Back off. Now I'm not digging the drums. I'm going to take the drums out. Mute those. Okay. So the guitar. I'm kind of ignoring the bass note. I could play it. Oh, so I could do. I could play the bass note with the tenor part. And that might lead me to do something different. I might go, you know what? I'm going to go A. I'm going to play E over the A minor chord. And I might stay on that E for the F chord. Check, because it's just like, it's so cool to hit that major 7. So, and I could even change that in the harmony if I wanted to, like as a singer, if the singers were following that, if it were, an actual vocal song, you could have the singers stay on that E and it would create a major 7th over the F. But check this out. I'll go to F for here. Now I'm going to stay there. Kind of modern sounding, and it's also now this isn't a hook, okay? It's just it's a basic rhythm, 1 5 6 4 rhythm part. But if I stay on that E note and I play a major 7th, now it's almost like I'm creating a hook. That's much more. Hey, Neon, what's going on? I think that's much more interesting. Kind of creates some dissonance that sets up the 1 chord again. And so that it's amazing to me how like that, if I did this, okay, that's like pay me as a session musician. All right. This is give me writer's percentage. One note difference. Unless they told you to play that note, then you're just a session musician again. See, if that's a note they wrote, then it's like you're just doing what they asked you to do, and you're just a musician. But if you change something and go, oh, now you're one of the writers. It doesn't always work out that way. It certainly didn't work out that way back in the day. And like for example with what's her name, Carol Kay, would often improve the bass lines there. The classic example is what she talks about, is when what they with the beat goes on was dum da-dum 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 da-dum, or something really boring like that. And she was like, well, this is not very interesting. This is not going to go anywhere. And so, sorry, I got to set an alarm to remind me. Really? I guess so. All right. Excuse me. And then she doom bum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum. What was it? The original was but originally it had something written, but the beat goes on. That's just boring. That's not quite exactly right, probably the wrong key, but you get the idea. Everybody sip. Yeah, exactly. Is this a new series? No, I'm just answering a question that was thrown up on I don't know that, I could keep talking on it. The thing is, what I recommend doing is go to your phone, go to your apps store, and then enter ear training. And there should be all sorts of free ones. You could buy one. Let's see. Arpeggio is one that I had downloaded in the past, and it's got 7,100 5-star reviews, so that's good. There's another one called Perfect Ear. They're all gonna probably ask for money or have ads or something, or unless you can buy it. And sometimes that's actually, I almost prefer if it's $3 for an app and there's no ads, I'll do that. Complete Ear Trainers, and it looks like another one that I downloaded at one point. I'm not sure why, but there's a million of them. So Music Rhythm Trainer, so you can start to learn how to read rhythms. That's actually a really good idea too. That's a little bit different. That's if you want to be like, you're going to find yourself in situations where you're going to need to read or write music. If you're just jamming with friends, you're probably never going to need that. But if you're going to be writing music for string ensembles or something like that, you're going to need to know how to read and write rhythms. But the ear training thing is something that will help you across all disciplines in music, everything from beginner to advanced. So if you have a request for Tom, go to the Discord. You can make a request of something that you want me to talk about, because I'm always looking for subjects. And then yesterday, I hung out with, the reason I wasn't able to do a live stream yesterday was because the YouTuber I was telling you about, John Mayer, and you can see his videos, John Mayer Music, JONMEYER. I ran across him on YouTube. I think he reached out to me initially, and then said he was going to be in town, so he's in town this week, and he asked me if I would, if he could interview me, and we we kind of just talked about the music business and playing guitar and all the instruments I have and all that stuff. So we just had fun with it. I mean, gosh, I don't think I even played a fifth of the instruments that we talked about, um, but yeah, so he's going to do a video. He's going to post a video. He's got about 25,000 subscribers. So it's, if it helps his channel a little bit, and it helps my channel a little bit, great. That's kind of my friend Rachel Talbot. She's the one that got me started YouTubing. And she was, she's got like her numbers up. She's got over 1 million subscribers now. But she got her numbers up because she would do YouTube videos with other girls that had similar numbers or better numbers or even less numbers. But just like if she had 40,000 subscribers and she went shopping with someone who had 60,000 subscribers, they would both gain subscribers from that. And that was her initial thing, was hair and makeup and clothes and shopping and stuff, because she was like a teenager and stuff. And I think I played on one of her records when she was 13 years old. Amazing singer. It was produced by Cucurell, who's the guy who is Justin Bieber's vocal producer. He's a great, amazing vocal producer. I think he still works with Rihanna, still does all of hers. And so I worked with Rachel way back then, but I actually know her dad. Her dad is Warren Ham, and currently is on tour with Toto, and also tours with Ringo Starr. Basically plays saxophone, flute, percussion, keyboards, and sings. He's kind of he's always on the road, which has got to be hard. I don't know how you do it, but he toured for years with Olivia Newton-John. He would sing "You're the One That I Want." He would sing that with her every show. So being able to sing as a musician, it really makes you a lot more marketable. Like a band goes, yeah, we need someone who can sing harmonies, and we need a lead guitar player. And it's like, well, you can have two more people to the band, but then you got to split. Now, instead of having a 4-piece, you've got a 5-piece, and you're going to have to split. If you make $1,000 a gig, now everybody's making 200 instead of 250. And so, if you got a guitar player, a lead guitar player that can sing harmonies as well, now you can just go back to being a 4-piece band, and everybody makes more money that way. So, anyway, that's just yeah, it's in the questions for Tom subreddit. It's like the third one down, I think. Dennis, good evening. Good evening. So yeah, I'm happy to make this a new series, ear training thing. We can talk about it a little bit. It would be, I wish I could sit here and go, okay, what's this interval? And then, we do another interval. What's this interval? Okay, now what's this interval? Now, when I hear a minor seventh, that's a minor seventh. What was it? Star Trek, right? Is that the Star Trek theme? Got a little bit of chromatic in there. A minor seventh always sounds like that. So if I play a minor seventh anywhere. Is that right? What did I do before? No, it was me. No. Yeah. Something like that. Oh, your holiday. Yeah. Where were you? I forget. I think I can't remember. Did you go to a festival? Were you like at a festival? I mean, that sounds like something you would do. Yeah, and a lot of times, like when you're playing like power stuff, like you can start, you can naturally hear that fifth. That fifth just, and then you hear that minor sixth. Or I could go to diminished fifth. And so the application of ear training, it's pretty rare that I try to figure stuff out now. And this is my whole point, is like if there was a song I was trying to figure out, I'd probably pull up a YouTube video for it. Or I'd probably, try to find tab for it somewhere. All those tab sites now where you can find tab for everything. So I would say, if you really want to work on your ear, try to figure out a solo without any help. Like, I don't know, pick a solo. You could say Stairway to Heaven, or you could you can later, after you think you've figured it out. And like when I was figuring out solos, I would write out the music, and I might write out both music and tab, but I don't think I have them in here, but I have lots of music papers that I wrote where I wrote out the music for all of like Steve Lukather's guitar solos. Let me see if they're down here. Wow. I have some stuff that goes way back. I should probably pull some of this stuff out and see if there's any good song ideas in there. I got a lot of things. It's like, golly, I've been writing songs for music forever. But I would tab out Charlie Parker solos, the sax player, the jazz sax player, bebop player. I wouldn't tab out, sorry. I would transcribe. I would put in music. And because I wanted to be able to see the rhythms of things, because that's just as important as the pitches. And when you're doing tablature, you really don't have rhythms. I mean, I've seen tablature where it's got the numbers and then the rhythms above it, and that's fine. That's at least you're getting the full picture. Now, the nice thing about tab is that if it's done correctly, if it's an exact or correct, oh, that's right, Lake Agarda. I think I saw pictures. If it's an exact takedown by somebody who knows exactly how it was done, then you're learning the places where the guitar player played. Like I remember transcribing the guitar solo, and I don't remember it now, but one of my favorite bands was Toto. Yeah, it was something like, I don't know. Because I'm not using these solos, I'm not playing in a Toto cover band or anything like that. The other one was like, what was it? It was a great solo. I could never figure out that rhythm part. I could never quite. Let me get a different sound. That one's too gainy. Oh, are we going to crash again? Wow. Joe Perry would do that weird thing where you go back and forth between the fifth and the flat five. Just such a great. He just had such a funky way of playing through a rock solo. It was one of my favorite players. Although, to be honest, I remember buying his album and I was so disappointed because it didn't have a lot of solos in it. It was just a mediocre record. The songs weren't great. There were nothing to the level of Aerosmith. So, yeah, play this way. Exactly. Yeah, that rhythm part is like. It's like. I'm hearing something like that. So it's kind of like a. I'm hearing that root, octave, fifth, root thing in there. But you could also play. Because I hear it. I think he's doing that. So you're playing a B flat on the third string, and then pulling off to the G, and then going to the A. And that might be Brad playing that part. I'm not sure which is. I probably should do. I should try to figure it out in earnest and try to get that down because it's just it's a great rhythm part. It's one of my favorite rhythm parts ever. Just and everybody plays the lick. Or something that I don't know. Turkish mobile internet is not up to the job. Yeah, I imagine you got several things working against you there. Anytime you use any kind of mobile internet, it's always sketchy, right? You use your phone as a yeah. I mean, if I learn the part, I mean, I guess I could show it to you all, as long as I don't play the record. I don't want to get a copyright strike, and I also don't want to. I want to be able to monetize. I mean, not that I make a lot of money on these videos. My YouTube revenue is way down. It's just like almost non-existent now. So I'm kind of like, I actually have another video that I got to work on. Most of it's done. Yeah, let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah, it's just pretty mediocre because I haven't had a big hit, and my big hit was 2018. So I'm a one-hit wonder on YouTube. I'm a no-hit wonder as a musician. Yeah, so let's see. If I, oh no, delete it. Oh, that's the drum. Oh, this is no bottom end. No, I don't like that. Do three on threes. 4. I mean, like, how would I solo over them? Do like a George Harrison thing would be very boxy. Brian, what's going on? I blame myself for your having to call live stream. Yeah, the live stream doesn't really generate any revenue, sadly. Oh, probably the drums are too loud. See, you can't really hear the hi-hat. 3, 4. Yeah, so now I added hi-hat. I don't think it really made it sonically much of a difference. Bass is a little boring. But like, so this is the chord progression, half of the chord progression for Let It Be. And the box thing would be like if you were to play this, say for example, this part of pentatonic number 5 there on this chart here. Okay, up there, pentatonic number 5, the bottom 4 notes, the middle 4 notes of the next scale, and the top 4 notes of the next scale. So we have a G, an A, a C, and a D. Now, we're missing one of the notes in the pentatonic scale. We're missing the E. So if we slide up that last note up a whole step, we get that E. Which is really important. For one thing, it gives you all 5 notes. The other thing is it gives you a slide in to get to that next phrase. And you'll notice when I slid up, I swapped out fingers. See, I started on the 3rd finger, but when I landed on the E note, I was on my 2nd finger. That way, it's kind of the Boy Scout thing. Be prepared, right? I'm just setting myself up. I could do this. Doesn't really matter how you do it. You can practice that though. You don't want to slide up from that C sharp. You want to make it kind of as unnoticeable as possible. Just a very. But you can just practice it. You can even practice. You can even do the opposite coming back down. The wave. So we have. I'm trying to stay in the pentatonic. But you can add that blues note. I think Paul actually sings the blues note in the melody. At some point, I think, ooh, let it be. He sings that. I think he sings the E flat at some point. So, all right. Probably should get going. Let's see. Oh, so yeah, you went to that lake garden. Yeah, I thought I saw. Did you post pictures on Discord, Dennis? Boo ba doo ba doo boo. Here we go. I thought I saw pictures of oh, here I am live. Am I misremembering, Dennis? Oh, you did. Okay. Where was it? Where did you followers with guitars? Gear reviews. Nice. Oh, Bob. Yeah. Nice, Bob. I'm looking at your guitars. You got the acoustic, you got this, kind of the 335, and you got the Strat, that smoke burst. That's really cool. Yeah. And what's the thing above the Strat? Looks like a box. Is it, is it something to redirect the vent? Is that what you did? Bob, yeah, Bob's still here. Oh, it's in the mods. Oh, in the mod section. Oh, okay. Not for general consumption then. Where is the mod section? I still don't understand. It's funny because everybody's on right now. I still don't understand Discord. Announcements, guitar. So mod would not be one of the OBS community. Let's see. Dennis. Okay, so if I click on Dennis. Yeah, no. Okay. Oh, I see. So, I see. Oh, you shut out the light for when you're streaming or when you're watching streams. Oh, and you're probably wondering, oh, that's interesting. What the heck is this? Is this a 12 string? Oh, it is a 12 string. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that bridge totally came up, didn't it? Who sent this? Oh, Aslan. Wow. That's a tough fix. Oh, I see. Yeah, there's Bob's setup right there. Yeah, nice. Is that Yamaha amp or something? That little amp. You're probably wondering what this is. This is a Bajo sexto. Sounds like a dirty word. It's Bajo. I think most Bajo sextos are 12 strings. This one's only 10. I got this in East LA. I actually went to a Mexican guitar store, and I brought my friend who's from Tijuana because I couldn't speak well enough, and I probably overpaid for this because they see a gringo coming and they double the price or something. But what it basically is kind of an octave low 12 string. Like every string here is wound, so there's no strings. So I think there's steel on the inside, I think, but. Normally it's played like. It's usually used as kind of like a low chording, top 5 strings of a guitar. So like a C chord would be played like this. It takes a bit to get used to because you're used to having one more string down here. But I usually use it to double bass lines. I wish I had one that was a 12 string version of this because then it also has a pickup in it, but I've never really used that. In fact, I probably should take out the battery if there's one in there so it doesn't become... Oh, I already thought of that. You know, when batteries, particularly 9 volts, they get old, they tend to like explode and expand and get all like weird. All right, so Dennis, are you telling me? Oh, a spark. Oh, that's a black star and spark. Okay. Sounds naughty, yeah. Well, I actually called it. All right, so I got to get the PG-13 rating this now, but I called it to my friend Jorge that took me. That was my friend that was from Tijuana. I may see him today actually, but Jorge he went with me to this Mexican guitar store in East LA, and I called it Bajo sex toy. And so he actually named one of his songs that on with the Nortec Collective because he's one of the members of the Nortec Collective, and so his contribution was called Baja Sex Toy. And I think I played that on it, if I'm not mistaken. So, um, yeah, it's a cool instrument. I like it. Was actually using it on a video game. I think I've used it on Call of Duty, but this week I was using it on a new game, and that's why it's out. And I just kind of kept it out because John Meyer was coming over. So, um, oh, we got 20. Well, yeah, we got 30 people on right now. Isn't that crazy? It's like I would expect less people. Like right now, I've got 29. Pretty amazing. We're almost to 30. Oh my gosh. I can hit the like button. I haven't hit the like button yet. So if I hit the like button, would we get to 30? Let me see. I have to go to YouTube. Oh, I'm going to create a feedback loop. I think I'll go ahead and turn off my sound here. Oh, look, I'm live. Oh, wait, 29 watching. Oh no, we got 27 likes. Come on, we can get to, there we go. We got 28 now. I just took it up one. And I'm getting an ad. All right, there I am. Oh. Now, what's crazy is how bright it looks in here. I have to, it's really dark in here. I've got my light on, but it's aimed at the ceiling. But like if I open the windows, it just, it's insanely bright in here. Look at that. Now I don't know, is that better or worse? I always think that as being worse. One thing you can see the wrinkles on my skin more. Oh, you see 32 likes. Oh well, look at that. Hey Charlie B, what's going on? Oh, you're here for most every session. Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad. Yeah, you don't ever have to feel like you have to chime in unless you've got something to add. So yeah. Definitely go back to that. But even that, I mean, I've just got this window not quite closed all the way. And it's just amazingly bright. Now, if I turn off that light, it would probably get dark in here. I don't know. This camera seems to be like way over saturating. That's why Charlie doesn't chime in, because he's got to say hi to everybody. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Bruce. Hi, Holly. Hi, Bob. Oh, hey, I am two of them. Oh, you liked it twice. Oh, I keep forgetting that you're you. Yeah, so the Bajo sexto, I'm not sure the origin, but it's cool. I think, I mean, and it's not bad. It's a little hard to play in tune because the low strings are so fat, and the scale seems kind of short to me. It seems like it should be a lot longer. Like if it's going to be this low, it should be a longer scale. But it's got a cool sound. I don't even know what I'm playing on it. It just sounds really kind of cool. And it plays for as cheap as it was, it plays pretty. What brand is it? Is it an Oscar Schmidt? No, it's a Lone Star. Is it made in, where's it made? See, I don't have enough light in here to tell where it's made. Oh, cool. I think it says it's made in Mexico. Lone Star. So I guess Alamo, made in Alamo, Mexico, or whatever. Yeah, so so it's fairly legit, I guess, but it I can tell it's pretty cheap. It's probably laminate sides. The top is probably solid spruce, and the bridge is crazy. Look at that. So I don't think that's going to pull it. But see, look at the strings are interesting too. And I don't think I've ever changed the strings. I think these are the original strings, but they're loop ends. So they loop through there, but they have that little fuzzy stuff on it, which I don't even remember seeing that on any strings. I'm trying to remember what strings I've seen fuzzy stuff on. Malaguena, yeah. Dolphin tails. Is that what it looks like? Yeah, it does totally looks like whale tails. I mean, if we're PG-13, we might as well just stay there. Malaguena in A minor. Let's see, how would I do? Yeah, it's just the bottom. It's strung A, D, G, B, E. It's just the top five strings of a regular guitar, and it's octaves. So the high note is the same as. So that's the same as the open A string. And then the partner string is down an octave. That's really low. Can you hear that? And then it's same thing, and then unison, unison, unison. So this one here, the G string is, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's the same as the third fret of the sixth string on a guitar. Okay, so that's pretty low. So it's so weird to play the G string and have your hand halfway across the fretboard. I'm used to being on the top part of the fretboard. So. Little bluegrass licks on the Bajo sexto. Blueha sexto. Yeah, and so it's kind of cool. It's got a sound that's like it's very deep and low, and I was miking it really close, try to get that low string to come out. It almost hard to play in that way because I almost wish it was just the octave down string. I could get another one and just. I love hearing that string. And it almost sounds like a nylon string. It's more nylon sounding than steel. I mean, if I played with my finger, just plucking the underneath and muting the bottom string, I could. But really, it's two strings. And that higher string kind of overwhelms the lower string. It's much louder than the lower string. So it's kind of a drag because I really want to hear that low string. And I could plug it in too. Yeah, they run the range. Yeah, the $1,700 one I wouldn't want to risk. The $400, I probably paid like $300 for that, maybe $350. I don't know if there's any music stores in East LA anymore at all, you know. Might be worth taking another trip down there to kind of check out stuff. Yeah, this Imperial Vintage is down kind of that way, and I've been there. Oh no, that's near me. What's this? Sam Ash. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's. I don't know if there's any Mexican music stores. I mean, maybe they just call it. Maybe they wouldn't be. You see, music store. It's probably gonna be records. Well, no, it pulls up. Okay, what's this one here? Ventura Music. Yeah. Where is that? Oh, that's yeah. I know exactly. I've been there. That's yeah. No, it's um, gu- guitarras. Oh well, now I got a couple. What is this? Let's see. Sam Ash. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is the one in. Oh, this wait. This no, this one I don't know. Okay, that's so funny. I actually literally pulled up two different stores. This one is on West Adams. I don't know anything about this one here. Okay, this more looks like more like a repair shop. Okay, so that's not going to be a store. What's this one? Candelas Guitars. Okay, not a whole lot of information here. Well, that's kind of cool. That's it looks like a ukulele though. Some vintage guitars. I got some flamenco stuff. So okay, okay. Now, if this is inside the shop, looks like it's got some decent classical guitars. And I need a Vihulo or what's that thing? What's that called? Is this inside the shop though? I don't know. I'll mark it and come back to it and see where it looks like it's in. Um, Guitar maker. Oh, it's Bajo sexto. Okay, flamenco mariachi stuff. Yeah. And where is it in? Definitely looks like East LA. Oh, it's really close to. Okay, Caesar. Oh, it's on Cesar Chavez. Okay, yeah, definitely East LA. So this is the kind of place I'm talking about. This may have been the place I went to all those years ago. What's the name of this park? Oh, it's a cemetery. Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, maybe feel like some good Mexican food. I'll go make a day out of it. So let's see. Yeah, yeah. Um, beginning of Poker Face. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Yeah. I don't know if you ever watched that show Poker Face, but it's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to check out. I'm going to get some work done, and then we can continue on this working on your ear stuff. And now that I've titled the live stream that, I will remember when I log in next week and go, oh yeah, we can talk about that some more. But feel free to post some ideas or questions or things like that. I won't be teaching songs, but story time. No, not today. I don't think I have anything new and exciting that I can share at this point. But who knows? Not getting out a lot. Stories are generated generally by leaving the house. If I got like some weird call to do some movie or something like that, I might have a good story out of it. But yeah, it's not really heading out doing too much lately. Mostly just working from home, which I like. I've gone to a couple sessions recently where they wanted me to bring a lot of tools, and it was just a big pain in the butt because so many of my instruments don't even have cases. So they're just like laying in the front seat and the back seat of the car, and I'm like, ugh. It's like I don't want to get cases for everything because it takes up too much room in the closets. So, but anyway, that's what. Oh, can I say what happened Monday? No, he just basically, John just interviewed me. I think he was thinking it was going to go one way and we went another way, and he kind of had the same. I think he'll have the same problem that Paul David had, which was too much footage, and I just talked too much. kind of turning it into something that can be used. Paul did a phenomenal job with that. He did. Keep in mind there was 4 hours of footage from that morning, and Paul turned it into an 11-minute video or something like that. So he did a pretty good job. So anyway, but yeah, we just talked, and we talked outside some, and I think he's just going to talk about how, encourage musicians to stick with it or whatever, because that's kind of my story. Everybody's path is different. It was John Mayer. You can go to his channel. He's got like 25,000. John Mayer, but I call him, I call him he's not a YouTuber, he's a storyteller. He really loves, not Mayer, John Mayer, not John Wick, no. He calls, he really kind of paints a picture. Now, I don't know how much of his videos will be useful, but he deals a lot with people that, musicians that are professionals and things like that. But his video that's got the most views is the one where he turned the Jim Dandy into a rubber bridge guitar. And so I actually got this thing that does the same thing. I may do a review of this. The funny thing is there's no, I don't even remember whose it is. There's no ID on it. So I'll try to figure out. I think I paid for it with PayPal, so maybe I can find out the name of it, and then I can link to it or something like that. But anyway, we'll talk soon. I'll see you in 6 days. Next Monday, I'm planning on doing a live stream. I have my dentist appointment that day too, so I have to cut out early to head. Well, I don't have to cut out early. I should be fine. Yeah, John Mayer Music, exactly. That's the one. Not John Mayer, not John Mayer. That's Mayer, and that is John. Yeah. No, I don't know that, John. Cheers. Have a good week, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. See you next Monday. Bye-bye.